Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is my second update for my Pan in Every Palette project pan. I need to take these glasses off because that glare is gonna drive me nuts. However, let's see. Second update. I was working on 4 eyeshadow palettes last month. I have some good progress to show you today, so why don't we go ahead and get into it. Alright, as we get started, I have my 4 palettes here that I was working on last month. I have some new pan to show you today, and then I've also made a decision. I'm going to start out with the ones that I did not hit pan on because last month they were brand new to this project, but also brand new to me, and that would be insane to hit pan in 2 palettes or 2 brand new palettes within a month. So the first one here is my Odin's Eye Hella palette. This one was literally my newest palette when I rolled this in last month, and as you can see, I have not really made much progress. I think I said like my kind of unofficial goal for this month was going to be to try to use every shade and then be able to kind of report back maybe which shade I would try to work on. I don't even think I ended up using every shade. I was working on some other videos and I never got to use some of these deeper tones down here. I used these pinks here. I used some of the greens, or most of the greens, maybe not this. No, I even used that deep green as like a wing liner one day. So I really find myself enjoying this palette. However, I think having 2 brand new palettes to work on in this project is just too much. So what I'm gonna do, since this is my newest palette, I'm gonna roll this out. I'm gonna end up doing get ready with me eventually with this palette. So I still want to continue to use it some. I'll probably leave it out, but I don't want to try to hit pan on 2 brand new palettes to me. The other one here, this little apricot colored Viseart palette, I feel like I can actually work on this one. So again, I did end up using every shade in this palette. I really like a number of these like shimmers, and I honestly have trouble like determining which one I want to use. I like this brown one. It's super easy for like a everyday appropriate smoky eye. So I find myself very drawn to that. I really like this like coppery shade here. It's really chunky and pretty, but not like chunky in a bad way. I do like the gold here. That's also pretty. I find this like coral shade is really pretty, but I don't think I'm gonna pick that shade because it's a little bit too like, I don't want every look to look coral every day. So at this point, I think what I'm gonna do is kind of work on these 2 shades, and let's see whichever one organically I kind of reach for. I know I said I was hoping to like have a shade to like go forward today, but I'm kind of leaning towards this brown, but then again it could easily be that coppery shade. But as you can see here, no real progress because again that kind of wasn't my goal this past month. So I'm going to continue on with this one in the project, and then I have 2 new pans. Go me. I'll start with my Natural Eyes palette from Too Faced. This one had a little bit of use when I rolled it in at the like introduction for this project, and today hopefully you can see we have some pan in that like matte lid setting shade. So this one will be rolling out. And then the other one here is my Nomad palette from Juvia's Place, and I was working on the gold in the middle here. I actually ended up reaching a good bit for this as like a transition shade. Really enjoy this palette. I was worried a little bit because it's such a fall color story to me, and I had it in spring, but I ended up being able to use this gold. It's really beautiful gold, and so I have it on the very inside of my lid today, kind of like sheared out, and today is when I ended up kind of expanding that pan a good bit to where it was more visible. But yeah, today we are rolling this one out. So what I'm gonna do is roll in 2 new palettes, continue working on this guy. So let's go ahead and see which 2 items I'm gonna roll in. All right, I have a random number generator and I have my little list here, 1 through 69. Let's see, 2 little palettes here. 63, okay, and 32. So 32 on my sheet here already has pan on it, so I'm gonna generate another number, 25, and 25 already has pan, so let's do another one, 5. All right, so I'll go ahead and tell you the 2 next palettes, and when my little girl wakes up from her nap, I will grab them and show them on camera. Number 5 was my ABH Norvina palette, and then number 63 is my Violet Voss Like a Boss palette. So when she wakes up, I'll get those. Okay, a second for you, 2 hours later for me. She's napped for 2 hours. That's awesome. Anyways, I have the palettes in my hand now. I'll start out with the Violet Voss Like a Pro palette, or Like a Boss Pro palette. This one is a newer to me palette. A friend was decluttering it and sent it to me. I haven't even used this one yet. I mean, it is slightly used, but I think what I'm going to do is kind of go for one of these two transition shades, these matte ones here. I'm not quite sure which one yet, but hopefully next update I'll have like a little bit, at least like some progress showing. Probably not a huge dip, but hopefully like a little bit, like you can tell which one it is, you know. And then the other one was the Norvina palette. This palette is probably my favorite palette in my entire collection, and I was sitting there waiting for her to wake up, and I was thinking to myself, oh man, what shade am I gonna pick? Like I was kind of spiraling. Well, what about this shade? I love this shade. I don't know if I want to hit pan. And then it hit me. This palette I bought right when we moved to Sweden, and so that's 3 years ago. This August, I think that will be 3 years ago. And for the fact that I love this palette so much, it is not, I mean, like, it is used. It's probably one of my more used palettes, just naturally. It's never been in a project, but for as much as I love this palette, it should look so much more used than this. But you know, that just speaks to my palette collection being a little too large. So what I'm gonna do is pick probably one of these top shimmers. I'm thinking about this one probably the most, or Summer here. Those are probably the ones that I'm gonna reach for the most. I'm worried that I have too many like just brown shades, so I'm probably gonna end up using this as an inner corner shade the most. But I'm gonna see if I can't push myself to hit pan on like at least 2 shades while I'm working on this palette. So fingers crossed for this one. Unofficial goal is, since this is my favorite palette and I want it to really look that way, I'm gonna try to hit pan on 2 shades in this guy. Especially since I am rolling out the Odin's Eye palette. You know, I think it's more than fair, or you know, try to make up for the fact that I'm rolling this one out. I'm gonna try to hit pan in 2 of these shades. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go for the dark brown in this guy, and then I'm gonna go for a transition shade in this guy. So that's it for today's video. Make sure you say hello in the comments, wish me luck, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.